Hi, Eileen.
Okay, we will formally start the Oceano Advisory Council meeting of April 15th at 5:32. And we'll start with a roll call. First, my list here is Eileen Villa, Chair, present. Charles Varney,
Present.
Lucia Casanova,
Here.
April Dury. She'll be here.
Oh, here.
There she is.
Hi, April.
Thank you. I'm here.
Next, we have the flag salute, and I'll lead. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now next on our agenda here, we have public comment for items not on the agenda. I'm going to repeat again, public comment for items not on the agenda. Do we have anyone with public comment here?
Seeing none.
Seeing none, we will proceed. Next, we got guest reports, county planning. I didn't see Mr. Choi here. I did receive an email that he was on medical leave. Hopefully he's fine. And he was supposed to return today, so maybe he didn't get a chance to come to our meeting. Anybody from county code enforcement? I didn't see any. Sheriff, didn't see that. I did receive a email from the commander stating that he would not be able to join us today.
Okay.
So he did send the report, a statistical report, and I apologize that my internet's down and I wasn't able to print it out. So it wasn't that there was just one, I believe, DUI here in Oceano. And the interesting thing about it was that the person who was not at fault in the accident was charged with the DUI. So I guess the moral of the story is don't drink and drive, because if somebody else hits you, you'll get taken in. You'll get a DUI.
Wow.
That's a person that if it wasn't for bad luck, they'd have no luck at all.
Okay, so next on our agenda, we have presentations. Is there anybody with a presentation? Being none, we'll go on to.
I don't know where I want to interject here to we're trying to figure out a use permit application thing for a site on 1820 Railroad Street to do exercise. And this is, I met with Lucia, right? Yep, oh, there you are.
Yes. Hi.
Hi.
Ben.
Hi. Yes, it's me. So I don't know, was this the time for when I wanted to speak up? I don't know. Or do I wait till later?
Let me talk. Can I interject a minute, Chair?
Go ahead.
Ben is trying to start a fitness business on Railroad Street, and he needs help with figuring out permits. So I told him to come to the council. Hopefully, Mr. Choi would be here, and Mr. Choi would at least give him some direction. Unfortunately, Mr. Choi is not here now, so I guess Ben missed the public comment not on agenda. So I don't know how we should proceed with this.
I think I'll give him an opportunity to speak since he got in late or didn't know that he was supposed to. You could speak up for public comment on items not on the agenda, and we can hopefully give you some advice.
Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead,
Well,
Ben.
I mean, yeah. So I had the exercise club in Grover Beach on Front Street. which was zoned industrial at the time and had to go through a use permit application process and, you know, work that out. And then had to, well, I didn't have to, but chose to close down March last year because, you know, we weren't supposed to operate and it was, you know, cost money to pay rent somewhere. So then I've been looking for places pretty frivolously since about summertime, I want to say. June, I think I started looking again, July, August, sometime in the summer. And it's with all the zoning changes with the marijuana businesses, it's really hard to find a big room basically that's not $2 a square foot or more, you know? And then I finally found this place that popped up. And so I just kind of jumped on it because I looked around and I was like, well, I don't see why there's like an acre-sized parking lot and, you know, like 2,500 square feet. So I couldn't like wait and try and, you know, go through the process to get a use permit and then try and rent it and then wait longer. And then, you know, I'm not yeah, I don't have that kind of, we couldn't afford to miss this space. So we tried to contact the county. I submitted whatever little questionnaire and they were like, oh no, it's industrial, your use is not allowed. And I was like, okay, well, like, is that the end of it? Or are there more avenues that I can, you know, like, because it is in the coastal zone, I suppose. And the guy was like, okay, I'll see what I can do. And then he never got back to me. And that was like, you know, a month ago. And my mom has done some, you know, sniffing around, and my uncle is a architect and he emailed somebody and no one ever got back to him either. We talked to we know one of the sheriffs and he came by and we were like, you know, like what? And he's like, you know, unless someone calls, you know, it's not a big point of contention for us right now, you know? So, but I would like to, you know, figure out how to do everything properly and get a use permit. So, and I was hoping maybe you could give, and Lucia said this was the best place to get started. So here I am looking for direction.
Well, welcome. I am more than willing to work with you and help you on getting the process started. I was part of a group that tried to get a farmer's market here. I deal with the county and the various city agencies and the permits, etc. all the time. I'm an accountant, tax preparer, bookkeeper, involved in the community. So I'm more than willing to work with you and help you get on the right path towards accomplishing this if you'd like.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I just, before we get much further down this road, I'd like to, I don't know the answer to this question, but I'm feeling a little uncomfortable with the advisory council being portrayed as providing advice to people applying for permits to the county.
Yeah.
This is a little bit out of our lane. And Ben, please don't, there's nothing personal about this. I don't know who you are. I mean, I've heard about your project personally. I hope you can get it going. Getting the runaround from the county is, I think that it would be appropriate for us to say we had a gentleman come to us and say he's not getting responses from the county about wanting to open a new business in Oceano. And that's about all I would be comfortable doing right now. I think the person that I would direct you to is your supervisor, Lynn Compton, who should be helping you out with this if you're getting jammed up by the county. She's really should be your advocate. And since you've gone through the process, well, you went through the process in Grover Beach. It is more complicated dealing with the county. And, you know, so I'd just like to get the issue that I raised clarified with everybody before we go much further on this.
I tend to agree with you, Charles. I think that we need to stay in our lane and we might have, don't want to run into any criticism or, by the county, them telling us you have no right to advise them. You're not an advisor. You don't work in the permit or for the permit section in the county.
Right. And
Mr. Troy would have been great if he would have been here. He usually is, and that would have been, but yes, I agree with you, Charles, that Lynn Compton's probably, she is our supervisor and she's supposed to represent us and she is pro-business. I would love for you to have that business here in Oceano. I really think we need more businesses, especially when it's to do with our health.
I have a question. Can't April help him as a private citizen, knowing the loops?
that's her business.
Oh, okay. I
Mhm.
mean, at least it's giving him some assistance to get pointed in the right direction. I mean, if I knew something as a private citizen, I would reach out and try to help.
Yeah, they'll have to do that on their own time, though.
Okay. Okay.
Wow, we just slamming every door. So I would like
Well,
to.
we're not, it's not appropriate to take the meeting time for you to be giving him private counsel.
I'm not giving him
on
any advice.
application.
I'm offering to say that I'm willing to work with him. I'm not doing anything at the moment. I'm not giving him advice right now, but I would like to clarify so you guys understand when I did the farmer's market, going through the OAC was part of the process. So I don't think you're aware of that.
Well, Mr. Green's project will go through OAC once he has
Okay.
got a permit. We see every one of those.
But why don't you two exchange
Oh, yeah,
phone
cool.
numbers?
Well,
Yeah.
I offered to help, but you guys figure out what you're doing. We'll go from there.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll just email Lucia and see if I can get your contact.
Thank you,
Okay.
sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, so where were we on our agenda, on our list here? Review and approval of minutes. Did everyone get a chance? If not, take a couple of minutes. And then I'll have someone motion to approve the minutes.
I never saw any minutes.
I motion to approve the minutes.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I,
Aye. Minutes passed. Oh. We got new business. We got quite an amount of things here to go. So we'll try to respect time and get as many of these completed. And if we go past 7, we'll have someone motion to go for 15 more minutes. So we'll start with the first one, the signature and the treasurer, signatory for the treasurer and a secretary to get everything transferred over so that April can take care of all our treasurer functions.
So I offered up the language for a motion, I think with my letter to the council about this. We need a motion appointing April as treasurer of the Oceano Advisory Council. And then we need a copy of the minutes that indicate that with all of the positions of the officers and council members to take to the bank.
Bank.
Yeah. So this is a procedural.
I thought we already had the motion and we already approved it. April.
We did not have it in the form that they needed.
Oh, okay.
So, and also, we need a motion I've been, Rio was supposed to be our vice chair and we motioned him in as vice chair and secretary, but he never came to any of our meetings, so we would also have to make a motion to formally, so that I can formally be the secretary, so that we can, have all this documentation. So I need that too, so we could do it all in one motion, or I guess two motions. So
I'm
I
sorry,
motion that-
you want to delete the secretary?
well, he was voted in as our vice chair
Or,
and our secretary,
okay,
but he never came to the following meeting.
okay. So then,
I also, excuse me, I also think we took care of that already.
Yeah, we took care, we voided his being vice chair and secretary, but now you need to formally make me the secretary, is what I'm
Right.
saying.
yes, okay.
Okay, then we need a motion to make Alina secretary.
So
Yeah.
moved.
All those in favor?
We need a
Aye.
Second, okay, aye.
Now we need a motion to make April. So I motion that we make that April be our treasurer.
Second,
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Congratulations, April. You're
I'll
our
have to
treasurer.
learn the job. It's really tough, I know.
And so the minutes will reflect it, and then you and Charles will have to get together and go to the bank. And I guess I'm supposed to
the
go, with you.
secretary needs to be there also.
So all of us need to find a time, not this Monday.
Not this Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday.
Okay. Next, we have the letter of intent, and hopefully you got a chance to read it. I sent it twice. I was not able to attach it to our minutes, and my gray hairs were turning purple and green because I didn't know what I was doing wrong till I realized it was a scan.
Oh,
So the letter was scanned, because then I thought, why did you do that? Then I'm like, oh, last time I scanned the letters because I wanted the signature to be shown. So that's why I wasn't able to to do that. But hopefully you saw it. And do we want to discuss this? It's open for discussion.
Well, would you explain what it's about for people that don't know?
Okay, the letter of intent is just it's for our new member, Sheila, that's being considered. She sent a questionnaire and a letter. Questionnaire, we went over it last meeting, and this time she's
Oh,
just
yeah.
sending the letter of intent.
I'm on a Zoom meeting right now. Can you call me back in a little while?
I can't hear. Hello?
I guess Sheila forgot to mute herself and she's on the phone.
Yeah, I got a call from a social worker, so, okay.
Oh, okay.
I told her I can't talk right now. Sorry about that. Sorry about
Oh,
that.
no problem. You could just mute yourself when you're on the phone, and
Oh,
then
sorry.
you can have, no problem.
I'm not familiar with this Zoom stuff,
It's a learning process. So she just sent the letter of intent of why she wants to be considered for the council.
Mhm.
Yeah, I read it and I liked it. So I very much am in favor of having Sheila as a new large member. I requested Sheila something about your volume, your audio. I can't hear you very well. You know, I have a hearing problem. Either your volume or maybe speak louder for me.
Okay, I can speak louder. Is that better?
Yes. a little
Yes,
Okay.
So I do, I favor Sheila's presence on the council.
I favor Sheila's presence also. I really like the fact that She is an educator, former and probably still, I think, an educator. Once you're an educator, you're a lifelong educator.
Yes.
And she's very concerned about, educating the children here in Oceano into a healthy, basically just learning about the value of our area here, the ocean and our beautiful dunes, and just a healthy lifestyle. So I really would like you to be part of our council. We need more members. We need people that are very, that love our community and want to help and educate in our community. So I'm very in favor of Sheila.
Right.
Do we have any further discussion?
No.
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 Well, then, do we need to make a motion? Anything that maybe Sheila wants to say something for people who did not read the questionnaire, did not read the letter of intent, briefly, a couple of minutes of introduction?
Yes, I'm Sheila Eckert. I've been in Oceano for about 7 years now. I've seen some good things and I see some good changes coming, but I've also seen some things that really need to be improved, and I'd like to be a part of that community to make it work.
We need that.
Yeah. And then also, I'd like to see maybe later on a docent program, educating, getting a program at the beach for the kids, like a little education center,
Mhm.
so that we can teach them about the ecology of the dunes. I think that would be a good thing too. So I've been in this community for 35 years. So I lived in 5 cities area for 35 years, 30 years, and then in Oceano for 7.
So you've seen it change.
Oh, have I? There were 7,000 people in Arroyo Grande when we moved here.
Why'd you bring them all with you?
Well, I knew we were in trouble when I saw future home of Kmart.
Yeah.
So that's it in a nutshell. I've seen a lot of changes here. Know a lot of people too.
Okay, so thank you,
And we
Sheila.
have,
You're welcome.
and we have a motion to approve Sheila as a at-large member of our council.
Do you need a motion or you're just making one?
I'm making one. I believe we need one.
Well, I second it.
All those in favor?
I
Aye. Welcome, Sheila.
Thank you. It'll be great. Looking forward to it.
We need members.
Um,
I tried to get some of our neighbors to come to the council meeting, and I'll tell you, it's like twisting arms. You can't direct them into, we need people, and this is your community, you live here. And boy, it's just really hard to get them involved.
Mhm.
We gotta figure out how to do that.
Yeah. When they
Matt,
realize that they have to make a commitment and then it's volunteer, all of a sudden it's not so appealing.
That's right.
But it's your community, and if you want, positive change, you have to do some volunteer work,
That's true.
especially when it's a small, beautiful community like Oceano.
Mhm.
Next on our list, we have vacation rental ordinance, and I guess Charles can take it away on that.
I'd like to, with the other council members' permission, James Sofranco is here in the meeting to answer any questions we have about the website
Oh, okay.
development contract. And I noticed it's at the end of the agenda. I think it would be a courtesy to James if we could reorder.
We
the
could put it
agenda.
up.
Yeah, do the website thing now. And then
Yes,
go to the
of
vacation
course,
rentals.
of course.
All
We
right.
don't want another hour if he doesn't,
Mhm.
yes, take it away, James.
Well, let me just say quickly before James takes it away, that we have a draft of a contract for a website development agreement that James put together, which I sent out to everybody this afternoon. And so that would be kind of that's kind of a work product of ultimately of this discussion with James, whether we want to sign in on this contract or not, or there's some modifications that we want. And with that being said, James, please do whatever introduction you want to do. Or
Hi, yeah, so I am happy to be here tonight to talk about your website and a possible rebuild. And as Charles mentioned, I shared out a Google Sheet to the officers here for you to be able to look at. And ultimately, what Charles was saying is it's just the kind of the starting point. The idea is to, if you'd like to have me work on rebuilding your website, to create an outline, and would then go through a process of refining the content and then discussing, various functions and aesthetics for the site and whatnot. And ultimately get a site that you guys feel is, exactly the way that you want it, that serves all of the functionality that you're looking for, while also being user friendly. And I'm happy to offer all kinds of training and assistance with getting that in a place where you feel like you can update it yourselves, and manage the site on your own going forward. And of course, having a certain baseline, comfort with being able to use the software is going to maybe take some time. But I'm happy to guide through that process as much as I possibly can, in addition to actually, getting the site built and set up for you. And I'm happy to answer any questions you have at this point. And of course, if this is something you decide you'd like to move forward with, this is just, again, the beginning conversation. I'm in a process that would take place over the coming weeks. And so it certainly doesn't have to be the ending, end all be all conversation at this point.
So I have a question. From beginning to end, how long will it take? Because our website really needs help.
Yes.
It needs to be updated.
Absolutely. So I guess as far as how long will it take, it sort of depends on how many. There's a number of different factors, right, in terms of how long it takes. It can be, obviously it's not just my availability, but how responsive everybody is in the process. And while I do prefer to have a kind of a single point of contact to sort of represent your council in a way that sort of streamlines the process. And of course, you all can coordinate with this person so that everybody can get feedback and input on it during the process, but having a singular point of contact who is responsive and able to make sure that there aren't long gaps of time between iterations of the site really will speed up the time frame. But I don't think it's unreasonable, considering that you're not looking to build, a very complex site with too many functions. It's fairly straightforward, at least in the initial conversations I've had with you. It seems like doing something like this in the next month seems reasonable to me. Now, I'm not saying that it will be fully, there won't be any work that would happen after that, because of course you can have the site live while also continuing to make changes, modifications, additions. But I think it's depending on how willing everybody is to move quickly and expeditiously in the process. And I'd be willing to, I've had some other projects I've been working on that I can now dedicate more time to something like this. I'd be willing to offer up as much time as possible to move that along. But how long it takes is really, I don't want to commit to a specific time frame without knowing exactly the kind of involvement in the process that everybody else here is available to commit as well, if that makes sense.
Well, I understand that. Thank you, James, that as you said, the site can go live immediately as soon as we pay for the hosting, right? So
Yes.
so it really, as soon as you're ready, get it alive, get it live, and then you at least just with the next meeting, just with the event. But it's gonna take some time to build it, and I agree that it should be live as soon as possible. And then in the process, you can build it, and we can learn. We don't have to wait to be too perfect to publish it.
No, I think that you should take the lead, the reins, and build it. Build it
Yes.
as much as possible, and then just show us and get our feedback. Because if we do the same mistake that we did with Melanie, it'll be forever. We'll be here
Yeah.
next year, still working on it. We are not, there's a reason there's, people who build the website, because you need training, and, you need to know what you're doing. So if you build it, all we need to learn is how to post documents and events, like do our own postings.
Mhm.
That's all we need to learn. We don't need to learn anything else. And I don't really want to, because it's too time consuming. It's not good use of our funds,
Right.
and you're the expert.
So I think one thing that I heard loud and clear from James, and he sent a email to all of us today. I don't know if you've had a chance to go through that, detailing the inputs he needs from us. So this is going to be a team effort. He's the king of the team. And there is a timeliness issue here, because our current provider, our contract is up this month. So we could possibly, and I don't know if I'll have to call them and see if they'll give us another month or something, but so it is getting started on this is important. And what we need to do to turn James loose is to have a motion to approve the contract
Yes.
as really the starting point.
That's the first thing. I totally agree, and I make a motion right now. I read the contract, and it looks great. I think it's the cheapest price. I bow to James for giving us the wonderful opportunity, and for also making yourself available to train somebody, or at least to be of guidance and to be of support even after the website is ready. That's the most important thing. So I'm very impressed, and I looked at the website. It already looks great. So I motion that we sign the contract.
I'll second that motion, and just piggyback on your nice comments, Lucia, to appreciation to you, James, for I know
Yes.
that in part this is a work from the heart, and you are giving us a very nice price, and we're very appreciative of it. The County of San Luis Obispo is very appreciative of it, James.
Yes.
We're going to get you a certificate for the wall.
Oh gosh, but hardly necessary. But no, I appreciate the opportunity to be able to lend some of my skills to support a good cause and in the work that you all are doing, and a community that I love. I would just say that I can definitely, knowing that you guys have a little bit of a time crunch here with your current site. Again, as soon as we have the content in that Google Doc that I shared with you, the copy more or less finalized, and again, not set in stone, but something that is where I can really just pull from it and start building the site in a way that I feel confident that we're not really changing things up too much. And at this point, even I think we're almost there, but that will make it so that I can get to work, and then it's just fine tuning, and can we can have a site ready to go within a matter of days. Even so, I look forward to an opportunity if this moves forward.
All right. There is a motion. There is a second.
All those in favor?
Aye. Good.
get started.
Okay?
Great.
And we'll
Is-
determine that point of contact for you, James.
Okay, great.
I'm looking at those links you sent us. Is this a time? I guess this is not the time to speak about the site specifically, right? This is just for the contract.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we can set up another meeting
Yeah.
specifically just with James to
Okay.
do that work.
Done.
Okay.
Absolutely. I'd be happy to make myself available to go through that and just as far as getting started goes, since I know you're eager, I can go ahead and at least get a initial, because you can sort of get started with developing even without having the payment in place as far as the hosting costs go. So I can go ahead and get that started and start kind of building out the initial framework. But the first step will definitely be on your end, will be getting the copy and the content solidified. So just keep that in mind on your part, so I can make sure I can get started as soon as possible on building it.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
Is that it
you.
for me?
You.
Yeah.
That's it.
Great. Thanks, everybody. Have a good evening.
Bye.
Thank you, James.
Thank you.
We need to get that going.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
so we go back to number 3, vacation rental ordinance.
Okay. Let me see. I'm going to try and share my screen here. Can you see this document?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I wanted to start out just kind of clarifying what the vacation rental is. There are 3 kinds of short-term residential or rental options in San Luis Obispo County. The first here is the bed and breakfast. And the bed and breakfast is, in a permanent residence where they rent out a room, and they have cooking facilities, and meals are maybe provided to the people that are staying there, are renting the space, and that requires a county health permit, and and all of the other ordinance conformity and paying the transient occupancy taxes, etc. The next one is the homestay. I think that VRBO is one of the online services that does this homestay thing, where you, in your private home, you can rent out no more than two bedrooms that don't have cooking facilities for overnight lodging, and you don't provide people with meals. The third option is residential vacation rental, or the vacation rental. And this is where somebody rents an entire house for less than 30 days. And often these are rented 1 week at a time. But you can have, the rule is you cannot exceed one individual tenancy per every 7 days. So at maximum, you'd be able to rent it out 4 times a month. And this is the vacation rental that has its pluses and has its minuses. And the reason that unincorporated areas of the county, and I'll stop sharing here, every other unincorporated coastal area in San Luis Obispo County has a vacation rental ordinance, is because there's a huge pressure of more and more vacation rental units, and the impacts of those that are enumerated in the draft of our ordinance that bring very importantly, they put increased pressure on the rising costs of rentals. Every home that's turned into a vacation rental, or let's say taken out of being a rental and put into vacation rental because it makes a lot more money for the owner, is a home that is removed from the housing stock. And we know that in Oceano, we do still have relatively affordable housing. The pressure of vacation rentals will most probably drive up the cost of housing. And as we become a beach community and no longer have vehicles on the beach, that pressure we know will increase. And that's a real challenge for us all to do what we can to mitigate and moderate pressures towards gentrification, at the same time that we improve the quality of life across the community. So this is what the vacation rental ordinance is designed to do. It's the draft that we have in circulation. If you haven't seen it, we'd be happy to provide it to you. Our job is to get this out to the community and to get community input. Oceano is somewhat unique in that half of our community, the larger half of the community, certainly geographically, is not in the coastal zone, but everything west of Highway 1 is in the coastal zone, and they have different regulations. The coastal zone regulations for vacation rentals is much more strict than the county's regulations of the vacation rentals. And our proposal takes a stand, or what we're suggesting is that vacation rentals east of Highway 1, of which there are about 9, maybe it's more than that. I wanted to get the updated figures from Mr. Choi, but he hasn't been available. But it's relatively few. What we're proposing is that those be grandfathered in, but when the home sells, the vacation rental permit does not go with it. It's canceled. With the goal being that ultimately then there will be no vacation rentals east of Highway 1 in Oceano. And then the question about increasing vacation rentals on the west side, where there are about almost 100 vacation rentals at this point. It's the center of vacation rentals in Oceano. How many more do we want to have? Do we want to put regulations on the density? Do we want to put a cap on the total number that are going to be permissible? And these are all options that we need to get input from the community on, especially the people that are over there all over the community, but over on the west side as well. And so the process for doing that is through the council. But our job is to get the word out to people so that they show up at meetings. And I think probably a good way to do that would be to have a special meeting on the vacation ordinance to take public input. We have to do a lot of publicizing of that so that people know about it. And once we've done our due diligence there, we can finalize the ordinance and then go through the process of sending it to the Board of Supervisors for their review, and then the whole public comment again to the Board of Supervisors about it. So that's kind of the overall view. If anybody has some specific questions, I can probably answer them. And then if there's anybody that has public input that they want to give about what they like or don't like about the ordinance, be happy to take that this evening as well.
Charles,
Yes, Fern.
question, does this go before the Board of Supervisors ultimately? Or
Yes.
who decides?
The Board of Supervisors have the authority.
Okay.
We don't have any authority. We just would recommend this to them.
Because I would just want to ask, I'm sorry, Lucia, what does Pismo have? And what does AG have in this kind of thing? Well, more Pismo because they're more of a corresponding beach community. So I wondered how their vacation rental policy differs from this.
They do have policies. The difference between them and us is that they're incorporated cities. So they have the authority to put their own ordinances together. And we don't have the authority as being unincorporated. We're like Los Osos, Cambria.
Does Discover Beach
Bobby
have one?
Hmm?
Discover Beach have one?
Yes. Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what it looks like, Charles? Does it?
It has I would say it looks more like the regulations that apply to the coastal zone. And if you look at our document, more stringent, they have density requirements, like only so many, there has to be so many feet of separation between vacation rentals. And to the point where it's like maybe like about, you could have one every block or maybe one every 2 blocks or something like that. It's so that they aren't all cramped up together. But I actually only glanced at some of that, but it's you can easily go on their websites and look at them.
Yeah, because I think it's easier to sell to the public when you state that, Discover Beach has something like similar to what we want or Andorra Grande, because they're like our neighbors. So it's kind of an easier sell, like with the fireworks, like we want an ordinance, our ordinance would be marrying Grover Beaches and similar to Rio Grande's. And so it kind of people are more apt to go for it because it's similar and they want to be similar to their neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Lucia.
So, so do I understand correctly that this, I'm looking at the ordinance, so this is where did Charles go? Oh, there
He's
it is.
there.
Charles. So for example, under the density control, we have a minimum of feet between vacation rentals, but I don't see any, and even in the cap, okay, cap, 3 vacation rentals per 100 single family residencies. Well, did you work out what the number is then? How many will be allowed in Oceano, or do we want to come up with a number? We did talk about putting a cap. So what I'm saying is this is still open to input, both from public and council members, right?
Right.
Okay, so I think I would like to have a cap, a number spelled out. So maybe if we figure out how many single family residences there are right now, you know what I mean? And then we divide them by 100, we need a 3 per 100.
Which area are you talking about?
Excuse me?
Which area are you talking about?
Well, I'm talking about the coastal, because we are not gonna, right, because we're not going to have any on this side.
Okay.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
the coastal zone.
So we're pretty much we've already exceeded that, I think, greatly.
We have exceeded that?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm wondering if Grover Beach has. I'm wondering if Grover Beach has vacation rentals in more inland. I'm just thinking it's gonna be a little bit of a tough of a sell to say 0 vacation rentals west of,
East.
east of Highway 1.
It is, yet this is why we want to do this. We have to stay with our ideals and our goals to protect housing and to protect people and the community. That's why we're doing this. That's why. So I understand your concerns, Aline, and I also know that we are doing this because we want to protect the character and the housing and the long-term residents. So we need to do that. I totally agree with it.
Looks like Bonnie Ernst has her hand up.
Yeah, I don't know if you're taking public comment yet, but I have been an Airbnb host for a few years now. I don't know, 5 or 6. So I do have some comments on that. I'm not sure the necessity of limiting the east of the inland rentals. For one thing, it's a small amount. The other thing is I've hosted 400 plus people. They eat in restaurants, they frequent shops, they go to the economy, and I can say 4 out of 400 probably went to ride ATVs on the dunes. So they are not that type of people. So they do contribute to the economy. Also, I think I probably have the nicest house on the block. And one reason for that is because I host to Airbnb and it needs to look good. If there were more, there might be more people making it look good. So I think the division between the beach and inland should be made. I definitely agree that there's too many rentals on the beach, and that is a problem, too many absentee landlords. And we also have to remember that the Coastal Commission is concerned with coastal access for everyone. So that's something to keep in mind. But I do not, I would not advocate phasing out rentals inland. It's such a small amount, and really it only helps. I don't really see any negative sides. Thanks.
So just to clarify for Bonnie, the vacation rental ordinance that we're talking about here has nothing to do with Airbnbs.
Has nothing to do with Airbnbs?
No, nothing.
Oh, I didn't realize it. Okay, I take back everything.
No, I just wanted, if I can remind Bonnie.
It only has to do with our VRBOs or
Vacation rentals.
Yes.
Entire houses being rented out.
It has nothing to do with short-term rentals.
No, at the beginning, Charles made the difference between 3 types.
Okay.
And they were bed and breakfasts, homestays, and vacation rentals. So this ordinance only deals with vacation rentals, which means they rent the whole house, and a family in residence is not required. Your situation is into the bed and breakfast, in which family residence is required, and you only rent out a room. So that does not apply to this ordinance.
Okay, I'll only make you aware that the Coastal Commission is concerned with coastal access. So, but yeah, we're way out of control along the coast. Sorry.
That's okay. Good comments.
I just want to say one thing. I raised my hand and
I see your hand. I guess we're taking public comment. I'll
Well,
just say
it's
public
just
comment
a-
now.
VRBOs are more like residential rentals, Charles. There's a website where you go on and you rent from there, and it's a single house. It's not like a B&B or what Bonnie has rented out. So it's a vacation rental.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I
That's
wasn't sure if what that term applied to, so
Yeah, it's a vacation rental. So,
well, that's what this ordinance addresses. That's what
Yeah.
the ordinance is about.
okay.
Anybody else with public comment for this item?
Well, I'll just say that even if I turned it into a vacation rental, I think a minimum amount is acceptable, should be acceptable, because like I said, you tend to keep up your property more than people that actually live here. So I would think on east of the Highway 1, there should be a limited amount. It maybe, it doesn't have to be, but to take it down to 0, I don't think that's really fair.
It might be a hard selling point. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, it doesn't seem fair. That doesn't, I mean, that's one way for coastal access for people that may not be able to afford, hundreds or thousands of dollars to be on the coast.
Well, when we have no homes left, we won't be able to afford to live here either.
Yeah, well, as I said, limited. I think limited is,
Very limited,
yeah, just limited.
very limited.
Yeah.
So thank you for working on this, Charles. I really, you put a lot of time and effort and passion into this. And it's something that's needed, very needed. I think we need to push forward and, put it out there so that the public knows about it. And if they want, they could read what you've already proposed. And then we can have a special meeting or even several special meetings in the near future so that we can get public input and get this presented at the Board of Supervisors as soon as possible.
Okay.
Can I add
well,
one?
This really started.
Can I add one more thing?
Sure, go ahead.
To be concerned about this is really good. What I've learned over the past couple months, though, to also be concerned about RV storage rental taking up as much land as it does should also be high on the radar. It's a lot, and it's getting to be more and more and more. And that brings no housing, no businesses, no rentals, no nothing. So I would encourage you to put RV rental storage on or any sort of storage on the radar as being limited. Thanks.
Thank you, Bonnie. That's very important. I was thinking about that also when I did my walk the other day.
To piggyback on that, the concern for our health and safety, if we were to have a fire and those things go up in flames, they're nothing but chemical balls. And they're all along, behind me, that's all I would breathe forever, is burned up RVs full of gas and oil and everything else. So, there's a bit of a concern for me because they're highly concentrated. There is no buffer between them. They're sardined in there. And when one goes, they all go.
Yes, and there's, I don't know how many, it seems like more than hundreds, seems like thousands.
Yes, thousands.
Take a walk and behind there on the levee, and it's like there's so many. And land is so precious here in Oceano because we have so little of it. I was thinking about environmental justice here in Oceano, and I'm thinking the RVs are an environmental injustice here in Oceano because they deprive us of that land, and we could have a nice park or something else in that area, and not all those RVs that probably don't even, the owners are probably not even from Oceano. It doesn't seem fair.
So private land use, that goes to the county on what they're allowed to put on their own personal land, whoever owns the property that these are stored at, but that they're over dirt and the oil that they leak and the gasoline that they leak, etc., that all goes into our soil and our land, and eventually over however long, our aquifers and our water sources, etc. So from that standpoint, I absolutely agree with you that it's an environmental concern. They're just not conducive to nature by any stretch.
If I may add,
Mhm.
I'm thinking about there's the possibility that they're already out of compliance with fire safety issues,
Oh,
that you could report this concern to the fire inspectors that go into every building, every business. The fire inspectors do their annual visit to businesses and ask why this is not being dealt with because it is an obvious fire hazard.
that's a very good point, because I don't know that there is a limit on occupancy, meaning number per acre or square foot or anything like that. And if there isn't, there should be. And if there is,
Right.
I would agree, there probably is no oversight of that at all.
You're right. They are packed like sardines. Aline and I walked by it. There is hardly room to walk through them. And if one goes on fire, they all go. So that's really an excellent thing to look into. Thank you, Bonnie, for bringing it up, and everybody.
Right, well, if you consider the fact that they have flammable material on their vehicle, their unit, to me, it just seems an obvious case of fire inspectors not being diligent in requiring a space between.
That's a very good point. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any more public comment on this? Okay,
Okay, I have
Go
a
ahead.
comment about a question for Charles about the vacation rental. There is one thing that I don't understand, Charles. Under location, the paragraph on location, it says it shall be located 100-foot radius around the vacation rental. No residential vacation rental shall be located within 100 from another one. But then at the very end, it says that this location standard can be modified through minor use permit approval when a development plan is not otherwise required. I'd like you to explain to me, first of all, what's the difference between a minor user permit and a development plan, and how that affects the standard?
I believe the difference between those is that a minor use permit is for an existing building and a development permit is for building a new structure.
Okay. So this location standard can be modified through a minor user permit approval. So that means that when somebody wants to turn, so that's a clause that allows the change of that standard.
It does, yes. Mhm. And I think that that was pretty much standard in the other vacation ordinances I looked at, which allows some wiggle room.
Right, so right here, it's the flexibility and the possibility of, I mean, right here, it's a big hit to the rigidity that seemed, yeah, I get it.
Mhm.
Thank you. That's all.
okay. Next, we have the planning for Pier Avenue closure.
Okay.
Does anyone want to start discussion on that?
I'm going to share my screen again on this.
No,
hopefully.
excuse me, are we finished with this? Are we, so
Yes,
are we gonna take any action, like maybe start the process of the public input and publishing it and special meeting, or it's too early?
I thought that was what the chair just suggested, that would be our
I
next.
suggested that we start that, and
Right,
so
So can we start now? Maybe decide a date?
For the special meeting?
Well, otherwise, what comes next? You see what I mean? We gotta decide what comes next if you wanna move this forward.
Mhm.
We can't just abandon it like this. So, so maybe we can even campaign to get written comments from public, for example.
Correct.
Yeah. So, so something like as soon as the website is up, we need to start collecting public written public input. So
Mm.
this is already something that needs to be put on the website as a draft vacation rental open to public input. And that would be the first thing. Put it on the website and ask for written public input. And then we see there is some interest, then we can decide a date.
I would say a public hearing in maybe look early June.
Yeah,
That would give time to get the website up and get word out and, you know, publicize it, maybe get an article in the paper,
yeah. So, yeah,
get it on Nextdoor,
Mm-hmm.
get people all riled up.
Posting it on Nextdoor, just like, you know, just the
yeah.
article, like you have it, just posting it
Question of
on a
procedure.
weekly.
Okay, I can already motion that we publish it the way it is on Nextdoor, and we ask for written comments, and people
Once the
start
website is up.
and people start talking about it. That's what we need to do, and the website. Okay.
A question. Does this go before the Oceano
CSD?
CSD
No,
Commission?
No,
They don't have to touch it.
they're a
No.
utility company.
Pardon?
They're a utility company in reality.
Yeah, okay, well, I'm just thinking if you didn't get their support. Either way, it could be politically good to get their yes or no.
So we have a
And-
motion,
Yes,
right? Lucia, you motion.
I'm
Can you repeat your mo-
that we publish it to
next door?
store, and we solicit written public comments.
okay,
Do you have a second?
Okay.
Written public comment once the website is up, right?
What about the website
Once it's up, once it's,
and the
Going.
website? Yes.
yeah, once we have it. Do you have a second?
Sure, second leaves it open to discussion still.
Do we have a second?
Yes, I will second officially.
Okay. All those in favor?
wait, discussion, please.
Fashion.
Okay. Discussion?
Okay, I'm, my concern about posting this entire document on Nextdoor is that I don't even know if they'll allow it because it is a huge document. And I think secondly, it would be more appropriate to provide a link to the document on Nextdoor for people that are interested in reading it. And
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, a link.
okay, well,
So-
I was just going with what Lucia said to post the document on Nextdoor. So I didn't, this is really then a point of clarification.
Okay,
And I think that we need to have the website, the new website serviceable before we can move forward with this. Because right now we don't have really capacity for that. And I think this is an aside on the website. I think it's a problem that people have to go into Google Docs to get a link to the meeting. And that's something that we need to have James you know, that we have a different option. And I know that that's how we do it now, because that's how we know how to do it, and it works. But we want something a lot more user friendly. And then we can have it set up where people can leave comments, you know, and etc. So I'm not against anything that people are saying in, you know, and conceptually. It's just kind of the logistics of it.
Yeah, I see your point, Charles. I see your point. And I see that, yeah, it would probably better to have our website published, at least just published, if not completed, with a link to the document, and then and then put it on Nextdoor or whatever, so people can go to the website and can, yeah, I think that's a better way to do it.
Mhm.
So should I withdraw the motion?
You want to withdraw the motion and
Yeah, I withdraw.
postpone it, table it?
Yes,
Okay.
I'll table it.
Okay, that way, yeah, they could comment on the website. Otherwise, it might get a little out of control on Nextdoor.
Right.
Okay. So
Thank you.
are we done with this now?
Yeah.
Complete with the vacation rentals? Okay.
Yeah, I'm done.
Next, we're going to the planning for the Pier Avenue closure. And I think a lot of us have been thinking about what we want. Does anyone want to start the discussion? I guess Charles has been really thinking about it.
It's a whole committee created for it.
Well, here's what I sent around. Can you see this thing, this document I'm sharing?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so, I would just invite the public to take a quick scan on it. This basically presents the case for the Oceano Advisory Council being the only county recognized place for local public for local voices in the Oceano community to be heard, that we take the lead on this in terms of gathering input from the community, in terms of what their needs and wants and desires are for a new imagined end of Pier Avenue. And as I've spoken with you and spoken with other people, you know, minimally, we need a cul-de-sac turnaround. And I provided you with a couple of pictures of those in Pismo Beach. I was hoping I could kind of share these, but I'm afraid if I try and do that, I'm going to lose the whole meeting here. And I don't want to do that. That I would encourage us to think big and bold about this, to think of people 70 years from now, you know, hanging out at the end of Pier Avenue and going, you know, in 2021, when they started talking about how to make this a cool spot, they really did a good job. And to have at the end of Pier Avenue you know, the pedestrian access to the beach and a public plaza, that is both a beautiful and welcoming design that attracts people to the area, where there can be cultural events, where there could be live music, where people can enjoy, you know, takeout food, and it makes Pier Avenue a destination point, as well as, of course, parking is a big issue that needs to be addressed, as well as we talk about the design of this. So to do the best that we can in terms of representing the community of Oceano and ascertaining what you know, the population would be interested in here. That's our job. And so this is sort of the initiation of that. I think that everybody, not everybody, but for us to act as if, in fact, Pier Avenue is going to shut down July 1st, 2022, and that our goal should be to have a plan in place by that time that is has been participated in by the state parks, by the community, by the county. And we are, if not in total agreement, are in pretty much agreement that this is what we want to see there. And like I said, I think we should think big. I think we should think something that's really beautiful and really nice. And Oceano deserves it. And it's going to be the gateway to the dunes, really, in reality. And if those dunes go on to be a World Heritage Site, I mean, they already are, as the Coastal Commission told us, the greatest and most complex and biodiverse coastal dunes complex on the earth. And so this will be one entry point for it. Also, the boardwalk concepts that are part of the Public Works program to be extended to the Arroyo Grande Lagoon and maybe beyond. Those boardwalks need to be designed to fit in and connect to the public plaza so that people can use the public plaza as a trailhead to get into the dunes or to walk, you know, take the larger boardwalks. So I think it's a really exciting thing to be involved with, and a fun project to work on, and a real honor and privilege for us to take a leadership role in it and make ourselves put our stake in the ground and say, we are stakeholders. And so with that, I'll finish my comments.
So Charles, what do you want us to do with this? Do you want us to either agree or disagree? I would think that that's what you would want, and then send it on to Compton, send it on to the powers to be?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes, I think that's the appropriate thing for us to do, Lucia, in that we're declaring ourselves, you know, the local public agency representing the citizens of Oceano in the needs assessment and design and function input for the Pier Avenue project.
Yeah, well, yeah, I like it. I like very much what you wrote, and I think this is the way to go. I think that I don't think this is really the time to talk about how we really want that plaza to look like.
Right.
Because maybe I would not put those pictures in when we send it on to the powers, because but yes, I definitely think we need to even read it to the board of supervisor. The council should read it to the board of supervisor, should send it officially to Compton and even to state parks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the Coastal Commission.
Yes.
So I completely agree with Charles also, that, and Lucia, we need to demand our place at the table, not ask for it, because we are stakeholders. We're the community of Oceano, and you know, we're the ones that are going to visit it more, have more pride in it, because it's part of our community.
Mm-hmm.
So we do, you know, need to be at that table. And we also, need to involve the community, the public. They need to give their input of what they would like to, how they would like the street there to look. And it is very important that we think about it and, make it give our suggestions for it as, really think about what we want and make it as attractive as possible, because it is the future of Oceano. It's the most important part. Like Charles said, those dunes are just like, I didn't know, the treasure that I had. I always liked the beach, but I didn't know it was like, I did not know our dunes were so special. And now that I know, it's even more upsetting that, off-roading is permitted there. Any type of destruction. It's like the largest total intact ecosystem of dunes in the world. There's others, but they're not intact for some reason, probably because they were destroyed or naturally or whatever, however, but yeah.
So I even wonder if it should be stated that even more stronger that we do request. I don't see it anywhere what it says we are stakeholder. We want to be part of the environmental justice policy requires that local communities make participant of planning decisions. So maybe we should add this, that as per the environmental justice policies, that the Oceano Advisory Council demands a place at the table when the decisions will be made.
Okay. I think that's fine. And I think what we could do tonight is agree to the, since we don't have anything else, agree in general to conceptually to the spirit of the document that you all have. And then we can, fine tune that, Lucia, along, the lines of that you're talking about, make it more declaratory, more explicit. And again, that we're not asking, we're notifying people that we will be the lead agency for the community of Oceano and providing input to the other. We'll be at the table with state parks and the coastal commission and the county as we move forward on this project. And I imagine some of the pushback we're going to get is what we've already heard, like, oh, it's going to be 3, 4, 5 years before this is ever settled in the courts and all of that. And that's what I think we just need to stand up strong and say, well, no, we're moving forward and we want to be ready to go and push the process some.
Okay, so I suggest that maybe you make it into a Google Doc and that we all have access to it. And then we suggest a deadline, a week or 2 weeks, because we don't take too long. And so we all council members have an opportunity to edit or add, and then just send it off when it's ready.
Yeah, I want to get a vote tonight so that we're on the record of this, so that there's not an issue about us working outside of a meeting on it and finalizing it.
Okay.
All right.
So
I would move that we accept this document as conceptually expressing the basic spirit of our role in the Pier Avenue pedestrian access and public plaza project, and we'll refine it over the next 2 weeks. And then for distribution.
I second.
In an effort to not mow over people and talk over them, I've just waited my turn.
Sorry.
So, I'd really like to add some input to this before 3 people vote, before I get to say what I'd like to say. So what I'd like to say is the blowback that I see so far right now is the commingling of Charles's group that he started, the OBCA group that's there for environmental justice, and what the OAC's role actually is in terms of the community. 4 people have 4 ideas of what they think this group is about. So with that in mind, I would like to state clearly and unequivocally that to me, the OAC's role is to learn what the community wants and provide that with the finesse and the roughing out the hard edges and presenting that to the Board of Supervisors. That to me is the role of the OAC. I read constantly lately about the negative comments about who's making what decisions and who's deciding on behalf of Oceano without input, and it is reflecting onto the OAC, and I am uncomfortable with that. People want to save the dunes. People want to revitalize the economic whatever. People want to shut down the airport. And all of that is blowing back on the OAC when we haven't discussed shutting down the airport or any of those things. But you all represent some other entity out there in the community, but you also represent the OAC, and it is reflecting onto the OAC. And I would just very vehemently and clearly like to express my concern about that. I absolutely agree that we, the community, are stakeholders in what happens on Pier Avenue and in Oceano in general, and that the OAC's role is to represent the community. So the steps of putting up a survey, making a public website so it's much more accessible, getting feedback from next door people, etc. I'm all for those things, but for us to create something in 2 weeks or a week or whatever time frame that you guys want to make now, for us to present to the Board of Supervisors, I feel is a little premature. And I would like that to be understood at this point. More than anything, to learn in my own community that there is this outside, what I consider outside, because I'd never heard of it until I read it in a newspaper, that there's this economic, whatever agency, group, committee, council, independent, privately decided group, but one of our members is in it, is reflecting back on us. And that concerns me greatly. So I want that out there. I understand we all care about the community. We care about the environment. I personally do, but my role on the OAC is not my personal beliefs. My role is to represent the community. So I'm uncomfortable presenting anything to the Board of Supervisors until we do hear from the community to some degree on this issue. That's it.
So I'd like to respond to that.
Sure. That's what we're here for.
I think there's a misunderstanding. The proposal that I think is on the table is simply to declare and assert that the OAC is going to be doing what you think it should be doing, April. This isn't saying, and that's what would be sent to the supervisors. There wasn't any discussion about making a recommendation for what the project should look like or anything. It was just declaring that OAC is going to be the lead agency to represent the people of Oceano. And yeah, we're gonna have to do some work to find out what the people of Oceana want.
Okay. I just hear we, I, me, I, we, and I don't have input from, we don't have input as of yet from the residents of Oceano. So I just want it to be clear that I'm all for us inviting ourselves to the table, because no one invites us, absolutely. But that we bifurcate people's personal roles in other things that they're doing within our community and bifurcate that from their role within the OAC, and those things shouldn't overlap and one thing represent in another place. That's my concern.
Well, I see that at the very end of the document, in fact, the document does say that the OAC will lead a community education needs assessment. So here, all the things that you suggested, survey and town halls, those, I think, in fact, this document is just to let those people the powers of being or to be, I don't know how to say, that we are engaged in gathering, we will gather Oceano's input, and we will, when that will be done, we want to be listened to. I think that's all it says. It says, we
I
will.
recognize what it says because I read it and I
Right.
contemplated it, but I also keep my ear to the ground in our community, and I follow groups and associations, etc., that are very much feeling that we, the OAC, is making independent decisions of the residents of Oceano, and that members have other influences and interests and goals that they don't agree with, and they don't feel that the OAC is truly representing them. And I want to keep that in the forefront. That's all I'm asking for at this point.
Yes.
I hope you tell those people they should show
I
up
don't
to
talk to those
OAC meeting.
people. I read them.
Yeah.
I'm not going to fight with people on the internet. I have much
not-
better things
It
to do
is
with my
not true
time.
that we're making this. I don't care what people say, like in the sense that, people can say what they want. We are not making decisions for Oceano. Council members have the right to pursue their own interests. As long as we are accountable and open, people can come to the meetings. I don't think we have done anything wrong, and I think people can participate in as many associations, and as long as they don't speak for the council, make it clear that everywhere you are, and you say, and people know, you say, I'm a member of the council, I'm not here representing the council, and I do not speak for the council. And
Perfect.
so that, I think that is then that we really need to remember. Yes.
And I appreciate the opportunity that we can say this right now in a meeting that's being recorded
Yes.
for posterity's sake, because down the road, if there is a question of lack of transparency, we were very transparent tonight, what our role is, what our goal is, what our future is, that we all understand that we have our own personal interests and areas that concern us, etc., but that we as the OAC agree what the OAC's role is in the community. That's my main point in this tonight, was just to make it very transparent that we're all understanding that moving forward.
I do.
Thank you. So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And we're at like 7:07, so can we motion for 10 more minutes?
Make it 15.
15, okay,
Goodness, that's a lot.
15 more minutes. Did I hear Lucia motion?
No, she said, oh geez.
Oh geez, another 15 minutes.
15, another 15, and we'll stop there. We can't allow these meetings to go drag on and on and on,
All right.
and we need to respect the time. So we'll get to as much as we can. So would you like to motion? I'll motion 15 more minutes. Do you have a second?
I'll
Second.
second it.
Okay, 15 more minutes. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Okay. So are we done? Do we have any public comment?
I have a public comment, if I may.
Sure.
You're actually a member.
You're
I
a member.
know. Okay, I'm a member now. Okay, I'm just wondering if our group, at some point in time before we start approaching the city council, if we shouldn't send out maybe a questionnaire or a survey, what people want, you know, the city of, or the, you know, our community of Oceano, so we can get some feedback from them.
We will, as soon as this motion, as soon as we get this document done, which does say we are gonna get a survey done, then we will do it.
Oh, okay.
We do not have a city council, Shayla. We do not have
We report to the Board of Supervisors.
report to the Board of Supervisors.
Yeah, but don't we need some input from the community so we can put our import, you know, our address the.
That's the next step. That's the
Okay,
next step. Yes,
Okay.
We will do that.
okay,
we are
Okay.
already doing that.
okay.
Next on our agenda here, we have the monthly OAC reports to the Board of Supervisors.
Oh, okay. Is the budget on there?
The budget, I guess the budget was part of that. Slash the budget.
So the budget's not on the agenda?
No, but you added it at the end.
Yes. Oh, no?
We could add it.
Okay. Well, quickly, the Board of Supervisors thing is that we just do a monthly report at the Board of Supervisors meeting about what's going on with the Oceano Advisory Council. And I would suggest that that be a job for the chair, and that she request, or that the chair request assistance from other members of the council in doing that, so that we have more of a presence in front of the Board of Supervisors, and they know what we're about, and just sort of a progress report on the items that we're dealing with. And
I like that, a progress report.
mhm.
Now, how do you see that happening? We just physically doing public moment? I mean,
Yeah, you do public comment.
yeah, I think that's the best way. You get up and read the progress report, and maybe it doesn't have necessarily to be the chair. We can take turns.
Rotate. I like that.
But I think it's a good idea.
That is fair.
That's fair.
Okay.
Yeah. But then again, the question comes, who's going to write the progress report? And then it has to circulate and be approved. You know, all
That's
of those.
why I said that the chair is responsible for it and accountable for it.
Okay.
I'm not, that isn't a lean about dumping on you. I mean, I think everybody should be, willing to, add in or suggest or give input, it's basically be reporting on kind of like, here's what we did at our April meeting, it's the, and
So basically what Eileen already turns in every meeting to Compton's office.
well, that's the minutes to Compton, but
No, you're right. But, and she also, before our meeting, she says, this is what our agenda is going to be.
Mhm.
So, but you mean an actual in-person at their meeting, so the whole board is aware of it?
Right, and that's
I think that's great.
our job is to report to the entire Board of Supervisors,
I
not
think
just
that's great.
Compton.
And we need something more than just those minutes, which really are very basic and, but you know, just, yeah, a progress report. This is what we discussed. It's how it went. But I hate to put it on a lean again. I don't know.
To do this, do you want the progress report rotated, and then does it have to be approved?
I think
Yeah.
as long as we're just, the report is on items that we've discussed and agreed upon and are in, it's what we're doing, that we've already agreed to that as a body. And it's just one of our spokespersons is telling people what we're working on and what progress we're making.
Just like posting it to Nextdoor.
Mhm. I mean, we're gonna be submitting a budget request to the county pretty quick. That would be something to remind them of.
Yeah, it would be like a little more in-depth minutes.
Mhm.
Or 3 minutes during public comment, right?
3 minutes. So what we need to do is let's give it a try. Okay, so let's give it a try. Maybe we need a volunteer to do the first one.
And do we want to do it the second or the first or second meeting of the supervisors? Don't they meet on the first and third Tuesdays? Is that correct?
Every Tuesday?
No, first and third. It's first and third or second and fourth. I don't know.
I think it's first and third
Yeah.
Tuesday.
So that would be then, would be this coming Tuesday. What about if we do it at the first meeting of each month?
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, so that would be on May 11th.
I could do May.
Good. Excellent.
Okay,
Actually, I am so sorry, I forgot. Our deadline's extended to May 15th.
No, for
I
taxes,
forgot,
right?
sorry, that's so rare, so I forgot.
okay.
I could do June.
So
Okay.
Aline, would you take the lead for May
Yes,
11th?
for May.
And I'll certainly, I volunteer to work with you on it. Maybe other people will as well.
Yes.
I'll probably even attend if we need.
Aline, the best way to do it is create a Google Doc to get some ideas. Short. 200
Well, it would be just like a summary of our meeting here.
Yeah.
we talked about this and then we talked about that and we decide to put it, and that's it.
Yeah.
Right, and it may not be that we want to talk about everything. Maybe we want to emphasize that we consider ourselves a lead agency and want to work with them on the Pier Avenue project, or we got
Exactly.
the vacation rental ordinance going. We,
I think
Yeah.
it's great.
kind of the highlight reel.
Yeah, same here, Aline. Started, and then I'll work on with you, Charles. And we'll get it done. We'll get it done.
Okay.
I'd like to get, I don't know how many minutes we have left. Can we quickly look at the budget?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay.
I have a question about the budget. Yes.
Okay, you see the budget up there now?
Yeah.
Okay. Shoot,
It's small.
what are your questions?
Yes. Yes. The question is, why is the website hosting that expensive? $320?
Says $300 on mine.
I say it's 320 on mine. Anyway, look, it says 320 on yours too.
Oh, website hosting. Oh, you know what? So that's, I see. Oh, the website hosting, because that's the estimate of how much it's going to cost.
It's way too much.
Yeah, well, that's what we're paying that now.
Oh my gosh, that's what we're paying now?
$173 a year,
How much?
$173 a year.
Oh, so this is for a 2 years budget. This is a 2 years hosting.
Almost a year and a half.
See the budget up here, April 2021 to December 22.
Okay.
Okay. Got it.
Okay,
Yeah, I wasn't clear about that. And then at the website maintenance, didn't Jim say that he wasn't going to charge us for helping us out, figuring it out and keeping it up?
well, I don't think he's going to do that for a year and a half.
So, but that wasn't in the contract. Where did you get this number? That's, I would just wonder.
I got it out of my head.
Yeah, but did he tell you that that's what he's going to charge?
No. Haven't even talked with him about website maintenance. I'm just
That's just an
assuming,
estimate.
yeah,
right?
I'm assuming that we are not going to know everything about managing the website and that things will come up and we'll need assistance. So we need to have some money in the budget for that.
And this is the amount of money we're gonna turn into the county and we request?
Yes,
Okay,
if you approve that.
thank you. I like it. It's fine.
And then to Sheila, your concern about community needs assessment, that's what the $2,700 here is about. You know, doing a survey is a very complex procedure. And it requires, you know, a scientific approach, scientific data gathering, sampling, et cetera, et cetera. It's not just putting, you know, and we need to do it right.
Yeah,
And so this $2,700 contract with Survey Monkey is for a year. So we would need to do all of our needs assessments within a year.
okay.
Wow. And then we can do as many surveys as we want in that year.
Yeah,
Great. Yeah, and then we can survey about Pier Avenue. We can survey people about the vacation rental. Yeah.
yeah. Well, I'll give it more details about what that actually entails, but we don't have time for that tonight.
Okay.
So, well, I'll make a motion to accept this budget and submit it to the county for funding through the appropriate process. And I have the form all filled out and pretty much ready to go after tonight. Yeah, so I'll move that we accept the proposed budget for submission.
I had one quick question. Charles, what's the name of that form or how is it referred to? If you know, if you don't, just text it to me.
Yeah, okay, I don't have it right here in front of me.
That's okay. I'm gonna do a public records request from all the supervisors to find out what the history is overall on how they use their discretionary funds.
Oh, so this would come out of the discretionary funds?
For, yeah, each supervisor has an allotment of discretionary funds. And you don't only have to ask your supervisor, and not only your supervisor could conceivably provide it. District 3 is given to District 5, District 5 is given to District 4. I mean, they do what they choose to do with their own discretionary funds. I just want to know what that form's called so I can do a public records request.
That's great. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Thank you so much, April.
Sure.
Okay.
So I made
So
it,
we got a motion?
doesn't have a second.
I second.
Second, third, aye.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Good.
Okay. Next, we got the economic impact, and we only have like 5 more minutes, so
Um,
I motion we end here and now.
uh-huh, yeah, we can kick that one down the road to the next meeting.
Yeah,
okay. Do I have a second for that motion of to adjourn?
I'll
Second,
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
okay, thank you, everybody.
That was wonderful. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you
Alright,
for
see
everyone
you
that
next-
attended.
See you
I
next
didn't hear
time.
anything
you,
from
Mark.
Nick this time. Bye, Nick.
Thanks for joining, Sheila.
Thank you. Thank you
Bye.
for letting me in.